Hey guys, it's Jeff from Patriot Training Center. A few weeks back we put out a video about why I switched to appendix inside the waistband carry. And after that video came out, we had some really good questions asking how I set the gun up to work for me in appendix, and how does it work for me being a bigger guy. So I'm going to try to answer some of those questions for you today. And I'm going to start with talking about how I set this up for me every day and put it on and go about my day. So first of all, when I go to work, I have to tuck my shirt in. So as you see, I have my shirt tucked in here, and I have on a Dark Star Orion holster with a Glock 45 is what I'm carrying right now. This tuckable front clip right here allows me to tuck the shirt in when I need to. So the first thing I did when I was experimenting with how to carry in this position was figure out a position that worked, that was comfortable for me. And what I ended up finding out, because of my body type and the way that my build and all that goes, is that carrying right here at the midline at 12 o'clock, at just past 12 o'clock, really ended up working really well for me. So there's a couple things about the holster setup that once I got right and figured out for me personally, really made all the difference in the world. So I'm going to use this other holster, this KSG holster right here, as an example, because it's set up identical to the Dark Star gear outside of the clip. This KSG has a monoblock on it, but outside of that, these are set up identical, and it starts here with this mod wing. When you carry an appendix position, the mod wing is a must. What that does for us, it works in correlation with the gun belt. As you see right here, the mod wing on this Dark Star is right where I'm pointing, and that gun belt comes across the mod wing, and what it does for us is it cants the pistol grip into our body. All right, without that mod wing, what it would do, it actually push the grip out. So the grip is the part of the gun that prints the most. The mod wing, coupled with a good gun belt, takes care of that, and again brings that grip into our body. All right, the second thing is figuring out your ride height. So with this particular KSG holster right here, I have this monoblock set up as high as I can go with it. So what that does is when I put this on, my belt rides right here, and I get a good full firing grip every time I go to draw and access this pistol. And that works really good for me. The tuggable clip on this Dark Star gear holster is set up in a very similar position where it hits the same way, and I can get that good full firing grip on the pistol. All right, so where I set my attachment to set my ride height and my mod wing is the important part of the front of this holster. On the back, equally important, is the angular flat pad that I have on here. This pad does two things for me. Number one, without this pad, the gun would tend to push forward, particularly with the size of my stomach. But even on smaller guys, without the pad, naturally, the gun wants to tilt forward. So this pad does two things for me. First thing it does is it keeps the gun pushed into my body, and works in correlation again with the mod wing to pull the grip in and to pull the gun back, which causes it to sit flat. The second thing the pad does for me is it eliminates hot spots, or areas where the plastic of the holster is contacting my body and can be extremely uncomfortable. So for each person, the position of this pad is different, and the size of the pad is different. The shape of the pad can be different, but this flat angular pad works really well for me and does exactly what I need it to do. It rides right down here where my holster rides and sits right there on top of my leg and makes it very comfortable. And I can do whatever I need to do with this holster. I can sit in the chair at work, I can drive, I can squat down. The only problem I have with that is my old bad knees. All right? So those are the most important aspects of setting up the holster to make it work for you. Once you get the holster set up the way you like it, it's all about finding the location of where you want the holster to ride on your body. And then you have your set up, you're ready to go. So as you see in my Dark Star gear here, the gun is riding flat against my stomach. I can access a full firing grip, draw this pistol if I need to, and go to work. So this position works really well for me. Again, you just kind of got to experiment with it a little bit and find what position works best for you across the body here. Of course, for right-handers, it's going to be this 12 to 2 o'clock. For the lefties, it's going to be 12 to 9, 10 o'clock. So once you figure that out and you figure out how to set up your holster the way you like it, life will be better. And again, a lot of advantages to the appendix carry position. Good fast draw, good retention from this position, and I find it extremely comfortable. After years of carrying on my hip, that got to where it was bothering me a little bit. So this has worked really well for me. So I hope that answers some of the questions that you guys had. If any other questions that we didn't answer, feel free to put a question in the comments or shoot us an email and we'll try to help you out. And outside of that, that's all I got for you today. Hope to see you training at the range with us.